Okay, everybody, we are back. This is probably, we're hoping this will be the end of Final Fantasy V. And I have to remember where the place that I'm going to go before I go tackle X Death in the Void is. And of course, that's real good, because I don't have a great memory for anything to do with this map. Well, I guess we can just turn this thing right into a boat. Village of... Yeah, this is Village of Moore. Because I don't completely remember how to get this item, so I have to pull this up real quick. A little bit more metal, I think, but close anyway. Either way. Once you go through this path, this guy shows up. And we get to take one of these items. In our case, we're taking the chicken knife. He turns into a skeleton. And runs off making chicken noises. Well, that's very weird. Imagine being the person who finds that out without the help of a guide. You'll be like, what the fuck, my game is haunted. Man. Video games do be strange, folks. But that's one of many reasons why we love them. And now I'm having some issues getting out of here. Well. Let's try going here. All right, there we go. Yeah, that's a little bit odd to get out of. It's so dense, all you see. Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. So, the chicken knife, we have discussed this before. Kind of an infamous weapon for this game that it's generally perceived as being the most powerful weapon in the game. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the other weapon there is the Brave Blade. The Brave Blade stays powerful if you don't run away, and if you don't run away at all in the entire game, yeah, it's pretty strong. Meanwhile, since we definitely ran away a few times, it lost a little bit, and the chicken knife grows in power as you run away, up to a maximum of like 50 power or something for upgrades. I think it's 50 power. But also, because most weapons that would be using both strength and agility in order to discern their damage are bugged. And they don't really factor agility basically at all. Except for that one for some reason. So, yeah, fundamentally, it is stronger because somebody done goofed when they were doing coding. And no, I hate to say it, it doesn't have to do with real chicken. But we've got that business going on, and... Oh, right, we wanted you to be maxed out so that way you could actually properly use Flare Sword with that. So... Unless we cannot use the chicken knife with this at all. I do not recall. I think it's Spellblade. Cool. Okay, yeah, it is. But yeah, for now, we're not going to worry ourselves too much about that. We're going to, is that not how you enter the... Wow, I thought you literally just drop into the hole and that's how you enter the final dungeon. But I am still going to attempt to do it anyway. Unless it's a very specific one. What if I have to just drive into it in the boat? No, apparently. Well, then I am a fool. Just a second here. Oh, I gotta go to where Castle Tycoon was. Pardon me. Which is great, because my, as ever, my ability to remember exactly where things are is butts. Buy tickets to the Exit and the Void show. Ow! Gotta go deal with Ticketmaster. That's like... That's an even greater villain by a wide margin. There we go. And you just fly over it, and there you go. You get given the suck. You enter the orb. The end zone. I'd probably rather that than an R zone, but by only a marginal amount. I think I expected there to be more cutscene there for a second, but hey. Whoops. Alrighty. Let's check out what we're dealing with here in the end zone, which... End zone also kind of seems like... if you had Nintendo trying to be, like, cool and edgy at some point, they would have the thing like, oh yeah, not a machine called the End Zone, obviously, but like that'd be like part of one of an area in Nintendo Power would be like, yeah, check out all of the new releases in the End Zone. And you'd have to try not to cringe to death when you got to that part of the magazine. We got some land squids, huh? I got no follow-up there. They're definitely land squid-ish things, I guess. They sort of look like they could be some kind of shellfish. Maybe. If you're very easily convinced of things being shellfish, I suppose. At least these guys don't seem to be too hard. Great. So we get an encounter on the conveyor belt. That's a little bit silly. Centipeeler, is that what we're... That's right. Peel your centipedes or something. I don't know. I know where I'm going with this bit. Actually, hold up. Do you have your white magic equipped? You do not. Alright, Ferris, you go ahead and throw down some of these real quick. Get folks' HPs a little higher here. The monsters have been sealed in this end zone for 1,000 years. And look at all these freaks. Well, some of them look kind of normal, actually. Once X-Death obtains the Void, our new world will emerge, one of darkness. Yeah, whatever, guys. Just let me in. Your interfering is over. Today, by the powers of darkness, you die in the end zone. Whatever. Either let's go or not. Enough messing around here. Got an ether. Got a cottage. I think I'm maxed out on those, though, so that's a little less valuable than usual, but hey. What do we got here? We got the Cyclo Skull, and we've got... Oh, that thing has... Oh, shit. The level checker is an enemy that just does, like, targeting and then something really mean, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but I basically kind of don't like where that's going. Oh, is it just using level 2 old? That's not really that big of a deal, then. It scans your speedrun for cheating and exposes you to the internet. That's right, Worcester. That's the thing that got him, was that. And for some reason, the thing that got him... for some reason, the thing that gets him negative attention in speedrunning is that, and not him going to GDQ that one year in a MAGA hat. And worse yet, I don't remember a whole lot about Worcester on a personal level, because obviously, like, why the fuck would I care? I'm not that level necessarily of invested in speedrunning as a rule. But the thing that I remember here is not necessarily that Worcester is a right-wing nutbag. It's just the fact that he's a genuinely annoying person who thinks doing stuff like that is funny. Ah, classic. Because Executor is so tall, and they put the camera angle, like, right at its crotch. Anyway. Yeah, perhaps I'm wrong about that. I will preface this that maybe I'm misremembering, but I seem to recall that story from Yonk's past, where Worcester went to a GDQ event with a MAGA hat. And yeah, so If anyone wants to come in here and defend his honor for some reason, well, get a life, but also... And part of this may be my questionable memory once again. Doing the thing it always does. Anyway, we got these elevator chains here, chain elevators to use. Oh, that's a lot of these guys. Okay. I don't think I like where this is going. Let's throw out some coins real quick. Hey. Yeah, you can see how incredibly strong that ability is in terms of its damage output. Oh, I can actually go past it. I wasn't entirely sure at first. Because it looked a little bit like the path was blocked. I suppose it could be not blocked, but hey. We got an elixir out the deal. I hardly know her. And a blood sword. That's fun. You guys like blood, right? And swords. That's just a winning combination, and we're getting back attacked by a couple of these Archaeotoads here. And thankfully, they seem to be completely asleep or something, so we can quickly run away from the Hypnotoad before we get... Ooh, hey, look, we are in the Mirage Town again. Interesting. Hey, do you have things to say? Nope, that guy is frozen in time. Which means I have a feeling that none of this town's amenities are going to be of any real use to us whatsoever. Yeah, all these people are only found alive in the actual town, I guess. And unfortunately, no save point in here for us. Ah, joy. We're in a darkened forest area here. Can only see so far in front of my face. I guess it kind of makes sense, though, on some level. Moss fungus. Yes, moss are indeed... I think moss are a type of fungus. Now I don't remember. Alright, just scatter shot. I mean, our damage is going to be kind of poop on this because Butts doesn't have a whole lot of weapon options, but hey. We should be able to just mash this fight out with... just right clicks here. Right clicks, I mean... the description technically counts. Oh, Ferris got bone snapped. Now Champ is confused, and... that's not a great place to be in here. Oh well. Thankfully, we managed to get things done a little bit too fast for that to matter. Yay! 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 Got Dragon Fang. Nice. That'll prove to be useful. Possibly. And meanwhile, we've got some Gestrexes here. Gestresses. So I guess we'll charge Butts up with a Flare Sword and go in for some scatter shots to try to dole out some bigger damage on these chuckleheads. Yeah, nowhere near as good as we'd like to hope, but hey. Oh, I see. That's what you're about. You're about turning people into toads. Or sometimes not doing that. Okay. The frog sprites are pretty funny. Listen. Oh, they can also cast Mini on folks. That's a little bit more irritating, actually. It's alright. How much can that guy have left in the tank? And the answer is not a whole lot. There we go. There's our cornucopia. I knew they were in there somewhere. I just kind of forgot where, because the inventory sorting is getting a little bit funky. This auto sorting is really doing great work, huh? Oh, there's Butts getting hit by the slow. And there's Crowl getting hit by the slow. That's unfortunate. Oh well, thankfully at least one member of our party is not status affected horribly. And she's handing out a lot of crits. Good work, Lena. You're being slightly more useful than the rest of the team right now. Nice. Yay, we did it. Should probably heal Ferris after that, though. Whoops. I would not be surprised if it didn't, but I also don't know which one's offhand, so... Let's get out of here. Thank you. That was getting a little worrying. Hey, cool, we got a ribbon. Unfortunately, ribbons in this game work a little bit differently from how you usually know them, as far as I know, so... Us equipping that, highly unlikely, basically. You know what, Ferris, go ahead and set up the flare sword for yourself. And in fact, we are going to have Butts do the same. Oh, fuck off, man. That's bothersome. Get away from me, kid, you bother me, etc. Excellent. And now, a week later, Butts actually gets to attack. And yeah, good chunk of damage, even with the terrible weapon that he still has equipped, because I don't really have much better right now. We got the Power Rod. I think that casts Berserk when you use it, which is kind of useful in certain circumstances, but is still rather niche. Yeah, the Power Rod, yes. So, a thing that I meant to say earlier, because I was talking up the chicken knife, and then I'm not using it, right? Well, the chicken knife has a bit of an issue, where when you use it to attack, you have a 25% chance of running away. Which, okay, like, on paper, that's not necessarily that bad. I just like to take every fight that I possibly can, because I'm an idiot or something. However, you can mitigate that by equipping the weapon in your offhand, basically. In your hand where the shield would usually go, but you need to have dual wield equipped for that. And in order to reach that point, well, I'm still waiting to master Sorcerer, so that way I can go back over to being a mime and have access to Flare Sword. Looked like Butts just gained a regular level there. And hooray, the enemy drops an antidote. Wow. Still dropping those all the way into the game when they could be giving me, like remedy or something. Anyway, here we go. It's time. We have Butts. Where is our... Right, it's a shot and down to sword and 2 swords. Alright. So we equipped, honestly, not good choices for this. Because, okay, our numbers sound nice, but they don't allow us to do what we want to. So we're going to equip the Air Lancet, we're going to equip the Chicken Knife. And we may not necessarily be in the greatest of positions with that, but it's better than some options, and we definitely want our Thornlet not equipped there. Left on the ocean. Well, the odds of me going back at this point are not the highest, so that's a thing to remember for the future. Alright, go look in the tree's knothole here. So this is a bit of a, hey, do you remember all of these locations from before? Sort of situation. And the answer for me is obviously not, but we're gonna try to do this anyway. Called that one. Now you see, we don't even need a regular attack command anymore because we have Scattershot. So that's the Mime class showing off a little bit of its power level for you. The ability to do some very fun stuff like that. That's not broken or anything. Oh, wait. Oh, right. Nope. Ah, here we go. Here's the first of the Fiends of the Void here. The Wood Sprite, later known as Califasteri, and oh, she's reflecting to start with that. I think Spellblade actually still kind of works on that, but there was a part of me that's like, don't chance it, idiot. Oh, jeez. Good to know that that works, I guess. And by good, I mean... Fuck. Thank you for the resub. Oh, god damn it, it does? Wow, I didn't even realize... I only noticed very recently because someone actually said something in that effect on Blue... Well, somebody said something on Blue Sky that said as much. I will fix that. Probably, like, right after this fight. Once it's done being extremely irritating. I was gonna say, I've got a Dispel, right? Surely Dispel is white magic in this game, right? It's just really high level. And then I get to see if it gets reflected or not. That's good. Anyway, yeah, I will fix that in a few minutes. I did not realize that that was the case. Thank you. Because, to be totally honest with you, I don't look at that a whole lot for... mostly reasons to the fact that it tends to be a little bit of an out of sight, out of mind sort of situation, which... That's right, I'm already out of my mind, but, Mastodon? No. I do not with the Mastodon, and I clicked the wrong command there. Whoopsie. Unless you're referring to the species of animal, in which case, I mean, those guys are pretty cool, but as a website? Oh, the band. Okay. I haven't listened to Mastodon, the band, in a very long time. Since, like... well, since I was in college at one point. That was in an era before... I want to say it was before the release of Crack the Sky was the last time I listened to them. So, as you can tell, an effing eternity ago. And I believe that what I had tried to listen to was the Leviathan album, and granted, back then, I don't think I was quite as deep into anything, like, more serious heavy metal than, like, some of the harder shit that Megadeth did. So it wasn't really my thing. I'd probably be a little bit more interested in it nowadays. I just have to actually get around to it. Looks at this list of things that I probably should listen to and keeps listening to the same thing because of reasons. Anyway. Let's go ahead and heal up everybody a little bit. Oh, thanks for not taking my up input there, so that way I use the high potion for like 2 HP. Like 5 or something. A new song ahead of their upcoming album. Mini doc on their YouTube about their recently deceased guitar. I did not... I probably did hear that and then didn't pay it a whole lot of attention. And here we've got these enemies, these Sybaritics. Oh, they've got a level halving ability. That's... Nobody's gonna like eating that. Because that's just not good for your damage calculations. Oh, and more noteworthily, they can petrify. Oh, and they are doing it very fast. Lovely. Let's see if we can just run. And we'll unstone Ferris after the battle the old-fashioned way here. The old-fashioned way, I guess, being like anything that's not in battle or something. Ooh, that's rough. That is some not great to hear stuff. That's very, very unfortunate. Ooh, we got the Angel Ring. I don't know what that does, but I'm assuming that that's going to be a... I'm assuming that's going to be an auto-res for us, maybe? Screw it, I'm looking it up. We're this deep into things. I've looked up so much in this game. Grants immunity to old and zombie status as well as provide 10 magic evade. So, not quite as good as what I said, but, I mean, it's status resistance of a type that may or may not be useful against the final boss. Exdeath has an attack called Grand Cross that barfs out a bunch of status effects onto the party. I don't remember if Zombie is one of those. Old we can probably put up with. At least in theory. Oh, I don't want to deal with these fuckers. Not with my current skill build, they're not, because I can't equip them without leveling up Dancer, if I recall correctly. If I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. Either way, we ran away from that group, because I don't want to fight the fucking... low-budget Gatobla bosses there. Let's, Oh, okay. So I might be able to just get away with that anyway. Yeah, I mean, that would be the issue, is that I'd have to go through and grind them up to be a little bit better, but... the point we're at, well... I'm sure we'll probably be fine. Maybe not, but who knows. We'll find out when we get there. And it goes this way. If we can't really, like, reasonably beat Neo Exdeath, I'm gonna show off the cheese kill anyway. Asterisk, when I say cheese kill, I mean that it skips Neo Exdeath as a fight, but you still fight regular Exdeath. With some air quotes involved there. We'll show that off, but we will still try to beat the fight the regular way. And if we can't, we'll just be like, well, you saw it. I don't feel like grinding for another several hours for another session of this. Just because we are this close. Oh, I didn't restock on cottages, I guess. Oh well. That's fine. We'll just tent a couple of times as we need. There are definitely a few things that I can do to prepare to make Neo X Death easier. There's... For example, there are some monsters that I could go and capture. That can be quick dumps to... do I have flame rings? No, I don't. Because... I just kind of forgot about those entirely. Butts isn't really a full mana, but I am going to use another tent and just max him out. And then we're going to save. Remember to save before you leave, because, yeah. Alright, so here we've got the big man himself. We've got Omega. We are trying to avoid the... And that actually turned out to be a quite easy movement pattern. You can tell it's not a very large area in which to do things. And, of course, Omega is like super boss level of difficult. Omega is, in fact, one of the earliest super bosses in the Final Fantasy franchise. And they just put the encounter in a position like that. That is some rough shit. Thought you heard me mention Lou Bega? Incredible. That's a new name, is Lou Bega. But here we've got the Apprehender, aka a panda in later versions of the game. And he is setting up Protect, because... And he's even doing it twice for good measure. I don't know if that stacks, buddy, but... You do you. Brenda D... Yeah. There. Panda D... There we go, that's better. We're gonna remove that Protect because... Yeah, we're not too impressed with what you've got going on here, my friend. And we're going to throw out our 8 attacks again, which are like 34. So that's a good lot of damage we did there. I'm not even gonna do the math. I'm lazy. But yeah. He dispels. We undispel. He protects, we dispel, and he turns us into a toad. And we just... We do this at him. Whatever we're doing in that animation. And it works. Well, Apprehender, it appears that you were the one who croaked after all. I can't believe I gotta fucking sub this stream. The yoinky split. Yes, exactly. By the way, for folks in the States, especially over on the eastern part of the country, how about that wildfire smoke that's turning the sky like a really unpleasant color? There's definitely some smoke getting down here to Illinois, but it's not as extreme as it is over in, like, New York, who are getting the brunt of it as usual. Sun setting, you can't... I mean, there's that. I think. This magic store's power to expose itself for a moment. This is the secret of Giga Flare. Oh, right. Yeah, it's for Twintania, who's going to be in our future. Blech. Alright, a Dragon Avis here. Oh, what am I doing mimicking nothing? Great job, Butts. You're paying real good attention, as usual. Totally him and not me. Oh, that doesn't do very much without being empowered. That's slightly unfortunate. But we can see it. This enemy is weak to the Wind Dagger. But, hey, thankfully that all went pretty well. Just, it's vulnerable to just getting pounded repeatedly. So, if you see that thing, start pounding, Joker. We got a couple of ninja here. We're out here dual-wielding katana, which is kind of, got it, boss. Yeah, exactly. Wow, me saying things that are easy to take out of context? What, am I imagining myself to be a VTuber sometime in the future? Image. I think that's just increased evasion. I don't think it's complete immunity to physical attacks. It might be, but... if it is, then that's a bit of a problem, because we don't have a whole lot of magic here. Not damaging magic, at least not right now. Yeah, see, we can still get some hits in if we're lucky. Huh. It might be just a fixed number of attacks that it blocks then, which would be very interesting if that were the case. Alright, yeah, we will set up Flare Sword. We have mana to spare here. We may as well. Ah, heck. They've both activated their image status, so I don't know how well we're going to land hits on some of them. Yeah, at least the one in the back is getting absolutely toasted. Neat. Okay, there's a couple of look like side paths here. Ah, see, that's why this guy doesn't act very often, is because it probably literally just uses air wing. Let me run from the fight, please. Or don't, I guess. That's also an option. I was gonna say, our HP are now so low enough that I have to at least get Kryl to have a turn to cast Cure 3 on everybody. At which point, well, I guess we may as well just start pounding Joker. Wait. I've done that one before. Yeah, whatever. I wasn't sure if those side paths were anything real, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like it. Oh well. Now we got two of these guys. And see, at least some of the enemies here are pretty easy. Pretty simple. Alright, crack our way in here. Start having a bit of a look around. Found Thor's hammer. That'd be pretty nice if we had anybody who could equip hammers or axes or anything like that. Unfortunately, this is one of those Final Fantasy games where they don't let white mages equip hammers anymore, even, so... Oh, you jerk. Oh, you double jerk. That is not what we like to see at all. Fuck it, coin tossing. Quality is dead. Yeah, well, let's bail butts out here real quick. I don't think our flare sword is going to continue past death, but hey. I'll probably have to save Kryl in a second, too. These guys suck. These rude asses. Although I was gonna say, they seem to be pretty pretty fragile, but then I remembered, yeah, I threw coins at them for like 3,000 damage a pop. So let's take a look at... I just want to take a look at the job experience here for everybody. And know if it was time to switch anyone over to anything else new yet. The answer is... I probably should, but... doesn't quite seem like time yet. We get some winged shoes. Not completely confident as to what those do, but they're probably helpful. It's very likely to be float, honestly. Which has purpose, just not necessarily so much here. Oh. So we gotta go around the other way, huh? Thankfully, these sword dancer guys at least seem to be pretty easy. Difficulty on these enemies can be quite variable, but hey. I guess they're gonna give us a couple of them being easy here. Except that. Just take a look around at what's in these dungeons. Well, there's a chest over there. Okay, thank you for reminding me. I should probably do that. Actually, now that's this. The gnomes. I'd ask what they ever did, but I'm sure I'll find out. Yeah, I can't edit rules through there. Where's my stream settings? Maybe. Anyway, this guy is oh, right. This is Ozalmagia, isn't it? So I don't have blue magic equipped. That is a bit of an issue. First of all, he gives us the suck, which apparently mostly means paralysis. Now, there's a trick that you can do to deal with Ozalmagia, because, unsurprisingly, as you might guess from the name, he is the blue mage man for, at least among the enemies here. If you cast certain blue magic, he will attempt to imitate it. So, one of the easiest ways you can do this fight is you can bring in someone with the blue magic skill equipped, and you can just use self-destruct on him. And he'll just be like, oh! And then he'll explode on you and die, because that's what self-destruct does, is it kills you. Alright, he's using Guardian, which I believe is the blue magic Mighty Guard. We're going to remove that. because you see, on the other hand, at least that still does a fuckload of damage. Oh, hey, and he turns into a save point. Very helpful. I mean, honestly, a large amount of this is just me eating these tents repeatedly in order to get some mana back. That's right, just simply consume tent over and over, and this is definitely a healthy solution to anything. Analytics, that's not what I'm interested in. Alright, Kryl's mana is not quite full, but that's fine. That will probably do for now. Go ahead and save. And now we can get right back to busting everybody else out of jail. At least out of the folks that will let me bust out of jail. And we get this guy, Alteroid, who I guess is just a random encounter. I don't remember this fight at all, so I'm just going to start pounding Joker. And we're gonna, like, miss all of our attacks now. Okay. Scatter shot works, though. That'll do. Ah, he turns into Jura Avis. Okay. Who absorbs wind damage, so we're gonna have to... Oh boy, that's a problem. That's a big problem. Okay, okay. We can kind of work this out, I think. First of all, by having that happen to us, which sucks, but... I guess we'll cast Holy Sword instead of what we normally would here. Because Holy is an actual element. Meanwhile, if we were to use Flare Sword, that would be non-elemental. So I think the Wind Dagger would still be doing wind damage. Yeah, see, the damage output isn't phenomenal, but it'll do something at least here. Assuming we hit anyway. See, just keep hitting them, and eventually it'll work. Probably could stand to do it a little more cleverly or something, but whatever. Wow, yeah, Dragon Fang. Yay! Yay! Hooray! I have quite a lot of those, and they're kind of good. Depending how much we use the Chemist, which, honestly, we're mostly just going to be using for cheese in the future. Ah, yeah, here we go. We got... Oh, it's more of these guys. Okay. Fine. Well, I guess this is one way to get in here and murder all these guys. Maybe Flare Sword will take the elemental edge off of things. We'll find out in a second. It's alright. This is graduated from not being a super hard fight to just being kind of annoying. I mean, I'm not sure I want to do it frequently, but hey. Alright, let's see. Yeah, okay, so Flare Sword nullifies the elemental aspect of things, so that's good. Yeah, as usual, that'll make things quite easy. Yep, just let the gnomes walk into me real quick, and I can deal with them this way. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, that sucks a pretty significant amount of ass. Right out of a straw. Anyway. Seriously, you're gonna reduce me to 2 party members? You fucking wretch. This guy who is shrimping much harder than literally anybody I've ever seen. Bro whose spinal cord is a diagram of the golden ratio. You're gonna kill off 2 of my party members, just eject them from... Yeah, that's what I thought, dude. Go fuck yourself. Open the treasure chest and get some red shoes. Those are a thing used by Dancer, I believe. Oh, hey, I can fight these guys through the grate. That's what happened the time earlier when I was like, what the fuck do you mean, random encounter boss? No. No, it wasn't that. It was actually even sillier. Thank you, game. I'm very glad. Alright, use our scatter shot some more. As this chucklehead just emerges from out of the guy's mouth or something, I don't know. You've fought this boss before. Is the game is pretending it's a boss because it's got boss music. As we take his tooth for good measure there. Whoa, hey, ease off there. You guys weren't close to that. Come on. Hey, nice block, Ferris. Something cooler. I don't know where I'm going with this. Do this thing. Yeah, that makes the guy emerge again. There we go. Yeah, as they'll just sort of like single file up to the door where for some reason I'm vulnerable to being fought by them through the bars, which is very funny. And there's Ferris being banished to the Shadow Realm because of reasons. I guess this guy is the one who is going to cast End Circle twice. Hopefully it's only once. Nope, he's banishing Lena and Ferris again. What a guy. No, that's not the one I wanted to do, but they still whatever. He still does something, you know? Alright, so we can just break in here and get the Prism Dress. That, I do not know who can equip that and in what classes, so let's, I guess, take a look. Can either of you two equip it? Now, surely they don't let the boys equip it. Come on. I know what sort of era this is. Yeah. Wouldn't you know it? Maybe it's an accessory. Could be. Anyway, we get this cranky eyeball over here. It's really just kind of hustling us a whole bunch here. Old Catastrophe here. Who's opening up with Earthshaker. We got Echo Slammed pretty hard there. Under certain circumstances, you might suggest that it's a disaster. Oh, he's unhappy with us for some reason. What are you, some kind of eyeball? Yep. That guy's dead. Easy. Probably. Easy-ish, anyway. Take our stuff, and... good thing we got this thing right here. I mean, we didn't eat too much of our resources, but we may as well, do this anyway. How full are our resources now? All the way. Alright. Now, save up again after we fought what the music would have you believe is 8 bosses, but... I don't know, man. That seems to be a little bit less than that. Anyway, here's this strange purple-haired girl who's been in here, this regular human in the void. And she smacks us, apparently. It just sort of happens. Butts is probably used to random acts of violence at this point. Make our way upstairs to this shit. I'd like to not be here. Can I please leave this battle? Be real nice. Yep. There we go. We're out. Steal when... I mean, theoretically I could do that, but... what is it? And does it... is it actually like a good item? What does it do is the important part here. And we get a man-eater. Watch out, boy. And we're getting ambushed by a random enemy out here in the middle of... not interested in you guys. Just let me leave the battle nice and quickly. And somebody got zombied. Cool. Just let me out of the fucking fight, man. Didn't we literally just get... Oh my god. We have 2 zombies, and the rest of the party are paralyzed. Didn't we literally get a fucking preemptive strike on this? And we're dead. God. This is why I don't run away from fights in any fucking RPG. Because sometimes it just won't. And you will suffer for it tremendously. Like, I just wasted so much... No, I didn't want to start a new game. Honestly, the fact that that's selected first is like, hey, you can tell that there's data on the memory card, too. They probably didn't do a whole lot of programming work for this, to be honest with you. However, thankfully we saved recently, so we just have to go through this again. So is the item over there even worth it? Alright, time to try to run from this encounter, from the Yojimbo and the Ninja. Eye drops and let's say antidotes were further up. Fix that issue. Oh right, that was that thing. Here, do you... You're not able to equip that. Okay. I don't know what type of weapon that is, because I'm pretty sure that's a weapon. Anyway, back we go. To hopefully not get into another one of these encounters where I don't run away, even though I know it's a runnable... Oh, Rama, what the hell are you doing here, buddy? His skills have improved, huh? chatting at us, and yeah, nice and quick. Does that give us access to his summon magic? Because if so, that's neat. Yeah, I guess it does. I don't have all the summons by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. But hey, neat. Not interested. Let me leave. Fucking A, just wow. The amount of this that these fights are pretty awful at times. Anyway. Go up through the door. Into the middle. This is going to lead us to, yeah, the shortcut. Crack that open. Try to sit in the big fancy chair, and then we get pulled in. You're gonna make me do it multiple times. Patented, huh? Do patents exist in this universe? Oh, I see, because it's Halicarnassus, not actually a random human woman. Who could have imagined? Halicarnasson. That is, you had no idea what this name was, did you? And we get turned into frogs. Halicanos, that's the name that they're going with. Alright. Whatever you say. Yes, I literally just said it was Halicarnassus, if you... But, oh boy, they fucked that name up real bad. Ooh. Anywho, we're gonna be spending everybody who has items turns handing these out, because... that's a hell of a way to start a fight, really. Oh yeah, everybody's been turned into frogs. So this is a fight that has a rare steal of an Aegis shield, which is a very nice thing to get. But also, it's a huge pain in the butt, so you can decide if you actually feel like doing it or not. Personally, I don't, because stealing in this game is absolute... it's not the worst in the series or anything. I mean, it's not fucking 4, where if you fail, Edge gets affected by a status effect that damages him. But, oh boy, this game, you don't have great odds of actually getting it. Ouch! That's a lot of damage for Kryl, that, as you can probably tell. So let's roast... Oh, I roast swapped the wrong person. And we're all frogs again. Good. Well, I'm glad that I saved like a million years before this fight, but still. I don't think Dispel removes our sword ability. so I think that part is safe at least. But also... Sheesh. Okay, well, I'll accept getting reverse polarity there. It lets me DPS. That's a little more unfortunate, but hey. Let's prep this. And yeah, I'll just keep doing this from the back row even. Anyway, slightly frustrating, but mostly one of those fights that you can just get through sheer attrition. Especially at this point, we have a good damage source ability here. I'm going to set up to Flare Sword these guys, because I no longer trust any of these enemies to be killable at the speed I would like them to be killed at. And... wow. Alright. Okay, calm down. Guy. Alright, just scattershot it, come on. Just kill at least something here. Well, he's dogpiling on one enemy, which means that thing is massively fucking dead, but unfortunately that's... And Kryl has been zombified, and he's casting death. Where's our holy waters? God, what an irritating enemy. Alright, well, after however much time it took me to figure out where the option was to fix that thing that was mentioned as being incorrect. Yep. I fixed it. God, it really is impossible to find anything on Twitch in terms of usability. Alright, here we go. Here's Twin Tanya. Now, it's hitting us with some blizzard here. It seems like another fight that we can just handle through some pretty simple methodologies here of just set up to Flare Sword it. And just machine gun it down. I should remember to use my magic lamp twice real quick. And it is spamming a lot of area of effect magic. Whew. This thing seems moderately angry. I think it doesn't like being killed this fast, but big whoop. Something about people in hell wanting ice water. That kind of idea. Yeah, first use of the magic lamp. Cast Mega Flare. Hey, Bahamut, we don't even have you available as a summon. You can see the damage on that is not the biggest the world has ever seen, but it does do something. It's because he's in a counter stance, basically, isn't it? Well, maybe this will get us a kill, I don't know. Damage is a lot overall, so the answer there is no, but hey. And he's hitting us with the suck. Thankfully we get up very fast. And some Wind Slash, and oh god, I literally don't have an item user active, do I? I'm gonna have to just gun it and see if this is gonna get us the kill. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go through the annoyance of... the minor annoyance, really, of dealing with Holocarnassus again. But, hey, we got there. Yeah, see, that's a fight where you don't want to get that aggro. You basically... So, Twintania will go into a charge stance to prepare an attack called Terra Flare or something like that. Same experience as 14s, really. Where you're the only person who knows what you're doing, and then the rest of the team are just complete incompetent bozos. And then he just, like, backs up and fucks off, and it's like, well, okay. Thanks. Ah, I see. I got you now. Because clearly I don't remember anything about... I mean, I went through regular difficulty coils, but not the more advanced difficulty. So I don't remember shit about that. Understandably. We get a Magic Shuriken, so if we want to have some things to throw during a future fight, that's helpful. And we've got this guy here. And we got a random encounter with some Behemoth Kings. These guys, I believe, simply counterattack. So... okay, well, the big thing here is I don't remember their like regular difficulty that well. This is important, but yeah, I seem to recall you saying that it really sucked, especially at the time. Anyway, let's fight this guy who's clearly some sort of boss sitting on a teleporter or something for us. Oh, it's our friend Gilgamesh. Look, a ghost. Yeah, let's fight him the old-fashioned way. Boss got hands. Yeah, he's got lots of hands. So that way he can carry his spear, his sword, his flail, his, like, weird hand axe looking thing back there. He's got some other stuff. That's right, it's our old friend Gilgamesh. He's here from those convention advertisements. You're welcome. Butts? That's right. I'm Butts, and Butts doesn't know how to talk during battle. These ghosts are rough. Both of these ghosts. Wait. Let's get out of here. As soon as we figure out how to do that. And he's gone. He's getting out of here. Oh, Greg. He's really cool. And there's another one of those. And here we get into a regular fight against, a guy who can zombie us. So that ring is actually sounding a lot more useful now, honestly. Yeah, of course a necromancer counts as being dead, because... You know, that only makes sense, right? Alright, let's crack this guy's shield real quick. And he's gonna shell. Whatever, dude. Here, re-die real quick for me. Alright, there you go. Good times. Tear that thing up real quick. All good. Go, and... get into another battle. Oh, it's movers. I don't want to deal with these. Because they kind of suck. Hey, we get an elixir. I hardly know her. Anyway. Back in the teleporter. Crystal Dragon. Can we run from this thing also? Nah, forget it. Let's just saddle up and kick this thing's ass. It also absorbs wind. Okay. And it hits for a lot. Yeah, right now, Kryle doesn't really have a whole lot of mana, which is Probably not a good thing to... You know, probably not a good thing. Period. I should probably feed her an elixir with somebody. That wasn't too bad. Oh god, that's worth a lot of... Fuck, was that actually Shinryu? Translated as Crystal Dragon? And with no boss music, which, I mean, okay, but that's very confusing. No, it's a monster in a box. That's... So that'll be that chest, I believe. Instead, we've got... Well, we've got the Mind Flares here, yeah. Or as most people would refer to them, Mind Flare. These dudes are the same type of enemy as the wizard enemy that you had in FF1. For reference, they just had different names because of reasons. And also, man, these guys have a lot of HP. It's fine then. Let's just have Lena shoot the one in the back. Even though I think technically they're now basically in the same row, and yeah, Ferris gets paralyzed, naturally. And this is just all they do, huh? It's just Mind Blast constantly? Okay. Oh yeah, Lena should definitely be equipped with a different job now. Where is the... There we go. Yeah, we'll give you Scattershot as your other... Yeah, so you can be another person to use this. And use the Enchanter. But also you need to take the Thornlet off. That's a bit of a problem. How's our elixirs looking? 33. I don't want to start... Well, okay, I'll use one for Kryl, which feels insane, because I'm probably about to immediately see a save point. Or something, but just that way I can get her replenished. And there's another Magic Shuriken. I'm assuming that the chest that has Shinryu in it, because it's in the chest containing Ragnarok, is that, like, one in the middle of the room. Because I believe we're in the correct room for that. set this up, and honestly, it's no longer... It's not necessary for Lena to do that. She can just scatter shot. Because her attack element isn't going to be absorbed. Alright, now, time to go over here, and we've got one more penultimate boss to fight here before we get into the final boss here. The light, I'll never give it to you. Here he comes, this is Necrophobe. With some barriers, huh? Needs 4 barriers. I am invincible. Well, let's see if we can kick his ass here. And they have... Get on with it! Jesus fucking Christ, dude. And that's literally so much damage that Kryl dies. Cool, 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 cool. Dude, I literally didn't even get to deal any damage there. Well, that's very annoying. Well, you know what? I'm actually just going to skip over the fact that that's the last save point in the dungeon. I'm going to create my own, as it were. Because, yeah, hey, I'm not doing this on hardware, and at this point we already know as much. So now I have to go through this very annoying boss battle again, because of reasons. And for some reason, Toad is a black magic spell. So I can't have Kryl cure that with magic for some reason. Because this game can be a little bit weird in terms of some of the things that they decided here and there. Oh, what am I doing? Wow, that was dumb. Alright, just scattershot our way through this, through the old classic, you know. And get hit by that. It's going to slightly dampen prospects, but only a little, really. Yeah, everything else that bothers me. I'll just keep wasting turns that way, because... yeah, I try to avoid using the row command in this game, because it honestly feels really slow to use, and you can't do any of that stuff outside of battle, for some odd reason. Honestly, I probably should go back and save the regular way, but... well... that's fine. We'll just do this, and... this time we'll try to fight Twintania the way that's, like, intended. Where you wait for the charge turn, and that's when you DPS. Alright, well here, there's Atomic Ray, which is not worth much, really. Just defend for a bit. Get hit by the Mind Blast, and everybody's paralyzed. Cool. I love when that happens. Here's this. There we go. He boosted, so we should be able to take him down now. With significantly lesser impediment. Never mind! That's a lot of damage, and it charges up really, really fast. Well, cool. I get to refight. I get to refight Holocarnossus again. Ah. That was fun. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Alright, well. That threw me off a little bit, because that's not who I was expecting to go first. That's incorrect. But it's still some pretty good damage. Unfortunately, it's just not a kill. The numbers are a little off from last time, I guess. Hell, I guess because Ferris didn't flare sword, so. In my defense, I'm getting a little bit after fighting the same boss 3 times. And beating the same boss 3 times because it's dirt fuck easy, but, you know. That's not the hard part of this. Anyway. This is where I call in the executive decision because I'm getting sick of replaying content. The executive decision is save stating. Yeah, it's more like, oh, good, I get to actually continue playing the game, and then I get to fail this boss that I've beaten before, or something. I don't know, it depends. Adam Ray. Fuck it, we'll just aim at this guy, I guess. Oh, that... I was gonna say, it doesn't trigger a counterattack, but it does. It was just delayed because I was in a menu, and second of all, I thought that that was like a turn of prep. I thought that was gonna be a waste. I was just like, okay, yeah, I don't do things that aren't good DPS, basically. Because we have to compete with, you know, Tales of Vesperia levels of meme of Tidal Wave. It's either that, or we enter into dealing with an attack that we kind of can't. Alright, and he gives us the suck, and he gives us the wind slash, and we are turns back from where we would like to be. Let's throw out some Cure 3 here, and Scattershot. I mean, Lena's gonna die, but because I'm gonna get dampened in a second here, but hey. Oh, no, apparently not. Never mind. Whatever you say, boss. And there we go. That's better. And we get into a fight on the small bridge here. And it's these guys who are awful. If I get killed by this shit while I'm trying to run, I'm gonna be very, very sad, because that's like, it'd be like the most dog shit RNG you could possibly imagine. I'm just trying to get to the end here. Fuck. Alright, send me to the void here. Pick up our magic shuriken. There's a lot of these. I don't really even think... God, are there even items of value in this area? There's like an elixir in section 2, and that's it. Now, these guys can be run from. And again, the Behemoth Kings just counterattack you when you... They counter you with Meteor, which is pretty harsh, but hey. Whatever. Alright, just do this some more. Yeah, we've seen this dialogue already. Alright, well, he's out of here. Remember, the only item here that actually matters is the one at the top of that area. Unfortunately, these Maximuses, these Maxima, they are going to probably be a lot harder to run away from than the King Behemoths. So, let's give them the business. Alright, do that. Alrighty. On to Void Room 3 here. And almost a clean run through here. That's kind of impressive, actually. Unfortunately, it's up against a group of Mind Flayers. That sucks. And Kryl gets paralyzed immediately, right after I have her do inputs. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes at this point. Prep our Flare Sword, and... Alright, fine. We'll use our double red, because we want to heal those two, because they are still leaking from getting hit by the suck. I was gonna say, aim for the one that's down there. Come on. It's a little bit more important than whatever the hell you were doing elsewhere, butts. And there's Lena being made unable to act. Again. Those guys are worth a pretty good chunk of ABP and stuff, so, I mean, at least there's that. I was gonna say, by now, Lena should be... Yeah, I was gonna say, she should be done by now, so... There's our Sorcerer again. There we go. And equip you with Scatter Shot. Yeah, again, move that Thornlet, because that is a thing that's a problem. Alright, so here we are on map 4 again. Yeah, just run through all this area full of tree roots. Hey guys, I wonder if Xdeath is a tree. Yeah, we're gonna save that right here. Go in. And now, first I'm going to show off the cheeser, just because at this point, repeating stuff, honestly, not all that unusual. Get Mix in there, and get our equipment, actually, it doesn't matter if we do that. We can do that for now. We're gonna reload the state afterwards, so it's fine. But I just gotta pull up the list here, make sure that I remember what I'm supposed to do with this. All right. Let's go, everybody. It's time. There he is. Where were you? I like this guy. The greatest power known to man. That's fairly narrow considering. Although, I mean, that does sound pretty serious, so, hey. Assuming you're actually correct about that. Power to turn into a big fucking tree. Get a weird face to just sort of appear in there, like the cover of an old fantasy novel. Kind of makes sense. It'll make sure that we enjoy watching our friends get sucked. I don't know, I can't see him from here. Okay, never mind. Yes, we can. One of those guys can get eaten anyway. He was pretty mid, you know? Yeah, just yell stop at the big killer tree. That's surely going to actually work, but whatever you say, buddy. And we've been sentenced to the land of Big Black Orb. As some mysterious voice yells at us to get up. Could it be Galuff? There he is! No, it's not, actually. Well, not yet, anyway. He's got to be in there, but... There's Zeza, there's Kelger, there's Bart's dad, and there he is, there's Galoof. And see, I knew at least there was a little bit of purple in their costume. The Dawn Warriors, here they are! They're gonna give us a little bit of extra help here, which is great, because we could probably use it. And there's the king. Enough of that ball fighting. Oh shit, I could have stated right before this. Okay. Well, here we go, everybody. He's gonna hit Lena with the old white ball. I'm gonna pause for just a second. Confirm. And lose the music, I guess. Okay. Never mind, there it is. Okay. Holy water. And turtle shell. And here we go. We give him some Bacchus wine, and it... I think it succeeded, judging by that number, but that is not necessarily the most encouraging thing I've ever seen. I guess we'll find out if he does an actual, Oh, why'd I do that? I mean, at least it's free, but... it's a waste of time. I guess we'll see if he does, like, a move, basically. On the other hand, he's definitely in the hitting like a truck sort of territory. Oh, that spinning attack on the Twin Lance is pretty cool. It's a good animation. I like that. Anyway, Kryl. Quick, heal yourself, please. We're gonna fast forward through this animation because it's quite long. Good old 8 attacks. Yep, that will do it. Oh, fuck. I just targeted that because I'm mashing too much. It's alright, maybe he won't target Kryl next turn. Oh, he's no longer in complete piss mode. Well, he didn't target Kryl this turn, but he did something much trashier. Oh well. Let's fix that part real quick. Yeah, just every time I see him cast a spell, basically, I'm gonna go, okay. Here's a attempt at me throwing boxes wine at him again. Also, yeah, to underscore, X-Death Sprite, I think, gets posted out of context quite a bit. But I do think it looks pretty great when it's attached to the background. Because you can see the like, level of depth there of his trunk extending all the way down to the ground level. And it's like a full thing. Yeah, okay, I don't think that worked. And he's casting Holy. That is probably like, yeah, deadly amounts of damage, of course. Fuck, dude. This is really annoying. And he's giving us the old white ball. Cast a bunch of status effects and instant death at the same time. Can you cut this shit out, dude? Like, I'm trying to do something here. I saw, like, literally one frame of an animation there. That was messed up looking. Did they fix this in this version? I'm curious now, actually. Hold up. I want to know. Because I know this is a thing in the SNES version. Did they fix this for the later versions? For the PS1 version, even, I guess? And it says he's immune to Berserk. Oh, I'm using the wrong item. That's the problem. Yes, the problem is that I'm using the wrong mix. I'm trying to hit him with Box's Wine. You have to hit him with Kiss of Blessing. And I have no recourse here, because I can't even switch equipment to go pull out the Wonder Rod or anything. Well, that's fine. Let's reload our save state, because we did that recently. I guess note to self to just save right after the right after the cutscene, because I thought we were going to be thrown into battle right right after the cutscene. We actually get to do our customizations here. But we've seen this already, because obviously. Alright, we go in here, and we're saving over it, and let's do this properly this time. Sure, I'll actually take off the twin sword, because I feel like keeping all the other shit will actually give me better damage, so, yeah. Oh, am I still allowed to do that even without... Cool, actually. I didn't realize that that was the case, that I never needed to have that equipped. It sure would have been nice to know that, actually. Okay, then. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Let's deal with this guy. Remember, it's Maiden's Kiss and Holy Water, not Holy Water and Turtle Shell, dumbass. And not everybody is at full health for some reason. Whoops. Okay, Maiden's Kiss and Holy Water, I said, right? Yes, there we go. Alright. In with Blessed Kiss, and now he should be in piss mode. Just permanently berserked. Because of some reason. Yeah, see, look at that. He is mad as hell. And only about half as pretty, really. Although this is probably going to be a little bit dangerous because, I mean, he's going to hit like a truck. I definitely don't have that. I guess I could cast Protect on key people, but... Also, again, this run super does not matter, so we can elixir up. And Crow can just die. That's also a thing that can happen as well. Are you okay, Lena? Are you blindfolding yourself for content? God, though, the absolute dog shit level of HP that you get back from from reviving is something. Eesh. Alright, so we'll cast Protes there. It's like some Zoomer slang or something. Yeah, see, look at how much less damage that does. Awesome. I could set up Blink, I guess, but this is fine. He's only got a few turns, and check that out. So, because he's berserked... some strange things are gonna happen. And we're gonna skip phase 2 of the fight. I think. Assuming it didn't do something else glitchy. Oh no, it's fading now. It just took a year. It's a very long amount of funny exploding noises. Maybe it's playing the proper noises from the end of the fight. Anyway, we're gonna watch the ending, and we are going to go back and take a crack at doing like a proper battle for Neo X Death. Because I think it is due on some level. Even though I'm probably going to get my ass handed to me because I don't have great levels, and worst of all, I am missing like a lot of good equipment. Probably because I was so confined for so much of the game by not having the thief gloves or the thief dagger to be able to, like, steal anything decently that I just gave up on that at some point. There's some very important stuff that you can pick up in various places, like the various Genji equipment from Gilgamesh encounters. Halicarnassus has another Aegis shield for you to pick up, which is a very helpful thing for this fight because of the status resistance. And yeah, by the way, there's sort of this interesting effect where the characters who die during the actual boss fight will be dead during the ending. So that's kind of neat. There's a lot of attention to detail being paid in this game. Overall, I think that Final Fantasy V, even though clearly it's gotten quite mean in a few places, especially near the end, but a large part of that is because the amount of grinding that I was willing to do was variable. I was just really tired recently, so I didn't do my final grind, and I got sidetracked whenever I had time to by doing other stuff. 'Cause, you know, oops. And if I had done that and had prepped everybody and gotten some better levels and better equipment and stuff, things would probably have gone significantly better. But I do think that FF5 is overall probably like one of the best games in the series in a lot of ways. It's a very good sort of culmination of what a lot of the early days were about. And while they would do certain things a lot better in the future and just make it more accessible, which I think that part is probably the roughest part of things, is that FF5 is like this massive quicksand pit, and you can go into it and you can look at all of these things that you could try to do that are available to you and not necessarily know where to start. And there are some parts otherwise that are not necessarily very beginner friendly. Like, I think the fact that it is kind of a tedious task to actually grind stuff is not going to enamor a lot of people to the game very much if they are not longtime Final Fantasy fans. And there's a lot of stuff that's like, how are you supposed to figure this out without a guidebook kind of level? After all, this is the game that gave us the Blue Mage for the first time, so it makes a little bit of sense that not only is this going to be the game that probably has, per capita, the highest amount of ridiculous, like, weird stuff you can do to enemies and have those strategies actually work, but also just the fact that it's going to have that many things that are going to be that much of a problem to actually figure out how to be able to get hold of them. To actually realize how much certain skills are usable in order to get your full skill set and get all of your best moves. So it's a really good game in my opinion, but you have to be very willing to experiment or just say F it and look up things in a guide, which I think is also kind of a thing that people really need to... There's a little bit too much of a mindset about people being unwilling to do that on a certain level, I think. Where people get so arrogant about not using guides for things. Again, I always think back about this one guy who got really snotty with me because I was using a guide / map for Metroid 1, a game that is kind of like borderline impenetrable at times. And it's like, really, dude? I get it. You have nothing in your life except for the fact that you stumbled into this solution by pure accident. But also, like, shut the fuck up and let people enjoy something the way that they want to. And, you know, again, even as a long-term born hater, I guess clearly I've found the personal limit where it's like, well, once you start having it affect me, I've got to... It's not just that. It is like there is a certain place where it's like, okay, yes, let people enjoy things is a philosophy that I get behind, and it's like, hey, if someone wants to play a game and do something that... do it in a way that lets them have fun, unless you're at an actual competitive level, then, like, just go away, you know? If this, you know, if the person wants to use mods or whatever, then by all means, just shut up and let them do it. Unless they're at, like, some sort of big esports championship and they're hacking, or if they're at a GDQ and they're doing something that is outside of specification. I specify that because, excuse me, for example, semi-recently there was a run of the FF10 PC version that used the cutscene skipper at GDQ, which they kind of needed to because it cut out over half of the runtime. And I think that that's a thing that's like, yeah, that's a permissible form of using it. That's within the parameters of, but if that person had whipped out a Game Shark and had given themselves max stats, that would not be permissible. That's outside the confines of what would be allowed inside of that area. So yeah, just don't be a dick to people, you know? That's kind of the great moral here, is don't be a dick to people. Also, that I think this game is very cool and honestly kind of one of, if not the best Final Fantasy. However, it's also not really the best choice to be your first game. So if you're hearing that like, oh, that's the best one, I should start from there. No, go start with Final Fantasy X, because that one is much easier and you can grasp the mechanics much more readily. Anyway, I do kind of want another... I would appreciate, I think, another game in this universe. Give us the game about the Dawn Warriors and their adventures. I posted something about that on Blue Sky at one point, and someone was like, oh, well, Square Enix is doing so badly lately. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess so, but I also think part of it is just a lack of good ideas too. They can't have good projects if they can't like start from any. You know, some things are just not destined for greatness, basically. So, yeah. And setting that part aside, I mean, maybe they're probably right about that part anyway, but still. And yeah, Ferris gets brought back to life, so we don't have to end this on Rip Ferris. That's good, at least. Oh. Hey, we can't get all three of those Chocobos on that one Windrake. Come on. That's not what would happen. Anyway. We'll let the credits roll too, and then, again, I will load up, and we will go and try to beat up X-Death through the ordinary means of beating the piss out of him. And see how well that does for us. Answer, probably not that well, but that's just how it goes. Enuo, yeah, who is kind of just a lore character in this version of the game, and then became a part of, became an actual boss fight in the GBA version, which was removed in the Pixel remaster, which the Pixel remasters are all about going back to the classic content of just the OG, but I wish they didn't. I wish they kept all the bonus stuff. Not only because I'd like to have a more complete version of the game available at any given location, but also because that's kind of important to have some of that stuff, right? But yeah, speaking of which, a thing I didn't really get to mention, although I'm just really falling out on the job for my standards, is that going back through this again, I really did come to notice just how much stuff got used in FF14 from Final Fantasy V. Because apparently Japan actually really likes FF5 quite a bit. And so you get a lot of fights in FF14 that are based on stuff from FF5. And, like, yeah, you also have Kryl as a Lalafell, who shows up occasionally with the Scions and is sort of a party member. But also just a lot of enemies that are reused, a lot of fights. Twintania, we mentioned earlier. Halicarnassus is in the Shadowbringers raid series. Ozalmagia, of course, is in the Blue Magic rodeo circus thing. There are a good amount of others. Exdeath and some of the others are in the Stormblood raids. Enuo is the patch 7.5 trial battle, by the way. Yes, Stormblood, the expansion that nobody likes. I'm sure there's, like, at least one person for whom Stormblood is, like, their favorite. But I've never met them. Yeah, I mean, Enuo is just another, story trial, so challenge level appropriate to that, really. I seem to recall that one was actually quite a bit easier than several of the other 7.x patch trials that I... Like, I'm pretty sure that it was easier than the robot Beatrix. That pixel scaling up. They're going to show us how much stuff we have for our characters, huh? 666 for our basic spell types there. For Kryl. Wow. Neat. What a coincidence. Yeah, not a lot, but I also didn't really grind that much, because there's a lot of farming stuff out that you have to do. It also kind of doesn't help my case too much that I did kind of save, like, right after certain really good grinding locations. I mentioned this a couple of streams ago, but I think it was before the last stream of this that I did, which was last week. I had farmed out several fights worth of... several hours worth of fighting Skull Eaters in the Jakul Cave. And then my emulator crashed, and I hadn't saved in, like, hours upon hours worth of progress. So, I lost quite a bit out of that. And I was very annoyed. But that's technology for you. It doesn't like when you do stuff. There it is, the end. Although for us, we are still gonna, again, take another crack at this with less exploitation. And see where we can get. This looks a little different. Oh, yeah. Watch the cutscene. It's not even the end, really. Nice orb. Yeah, you can see there's Butts looking like he did in the Amano art. Instead of how he actually looked in game. Which is like drastically different for some reason. That some reason being that the character was redesigned later. But also because Butts is designed as being basically yet another Elric type of character. You know, as I sort of implied before, basically because you look a little too much like what Cecil was trying to be. Anywho, now we get the end for real. Do we get to press buttons here? Doesn't seem like it. That's alright. Now. Back to here. Oh god, that's the wrong one. Wait, is it? Okay, the music just threw me off massively. I suppose again, I don't need two swords here because of the aforementioned reasons. Technically we can have white magic in there. But I'll take blue magic instead. This equipment is all wrong. That... I wish I could remember what any of the actually, you know, protective items are in terms of saving you from status effects, but we'll put the Aegis Shield on those two. And let's feed everybody some elixirs real quick. Which arguably is a little bit excessive, but hey. And now we're going to save state again just to be absolutely sure here. Let's take a shot at it. As in, take a shot because I'm about to die. In a probably very embarrassing manner. And he white-balled and failed immediately. Hell yes. You love to see it. Alright, set our sword tech. Throw out Cura. That should be enough to... Oh, that's much less than I thought it was. I was like, that should be enough to stanch the flow a little bit, but not nearly as well as I would like it to. During this version of the fight, we will be abusing speed up for some of the more tedious animations. Just because, again, we've seen this before, so... Big whoop. Oh, that's gonna suck. Oh boy, Butts, you are... on death's door here, and that is some incredibly unfortunate timing for that. We'll chuck in Elixir. I also need to remember to have somebody use the magic lamp. So that way I can tee up the... what I am laughingly calling a bit of cheese for the next... Oh, right! I didn't Mega Flare earlier! Oh, shit! So we're gonna be able to do that twice, I guess. Cool. Alright. And now here comes Tidal Wave with a lowercase w for some reason. So now, assuming that I'm not a complete idiot, as X-Death gets engulfed by the void, we will be able to do something kind of funny at the start of this fight. And by that, I mean we will be able to do something that doesn't work normally. And by that, I mean we're going to be able to actually kill a part of Neo X-Death's body instantly with Odin, because he behaves a little bit differently when he's summoned from the magic lamp than when you summon him for real. For some reason, he just sort of like... It's not necessarily a matter of heavy or not, but there's something that it causes it to behave a little bit differently in terms of what move he chooses. And now, come on. Bring it in, 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 boys. Show me the horrors beyond human understanding. Oh, baby. That thing is an absolute nightmare-looking creature. And we missed a whole bunch there, apparently. Alright. Scrolly, 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 scroll. Actually, you know what? No, you have Scattershot as well. You should actually do that. So, meanwhile, Kryl, who is honestly not that effective right now. Not for a minute, anyway. You go ahead and do it. Vengeance Sword, Zantetskin! And he does one hell of an animation. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill all of X-Death, just the one part. And it's making him vibrate a lot for some reason. He is quite displeased by this show of events. Show of things. And this, I think, is causing some lag, actually. Which is kind of hilarious. And there's Ultra Gust. I think that is the move that is later known as Almagest, but that's just a guess, really. And he is dispelling Ferris. That's okay. Yeah, see, this is a part of our life where accuracy is just kind of going down the toilet, and I don't like that. That's not a good... This is not a good place for us to be missing things. Yeah, I didn't say Ferris is on healing duty, and oh baby, here comes Grand Cross. My eyes! It's his sprite move. That makes sense, actually, but... Jesus. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Get out of that part of the menu, please. I need to Holy Water Kryl, because I think having a dedicated healer available is more important, really, than... Oh, never mind. Well, at least that's a much simpler thing to get out of than the other, I guess. But yeah, as you can see, Grand Cross, much like the one that is used by our good buddy, and by good buddy, I mean that annoying bitch Necron. Yo, Pog, I didn't know that we could block that way. Grand Cross just barfs out the worst status effect combo you've ever seen. Necron is a very weird fight, in my opinion. And by that, I mean, honestly, kind of sucks, but weird is definitely true, too. I found that Necron was a bit more of an RNG gate than anything. And here comes Mickey's Dick Smasher 4000, and we have been made tiny. We're a pretty tiny Kong here, but we are still doling out an amount of hurt that is shockingly reasonable. You know what? Just Elixir Kryl. I don't find that I get enough turns with that, with just having Quina there. But also, maybe it depends on just how much everything else you have going for you. regardless, a big part of it comes down to, hey, did you in fact manage to not get killed by all the status effects that Grand Cross hits at you? And the thing is that you can protect against most of the status effects that are instant death. Even if you put all of the status resist abilities on your entire party, and by resist I mean immunity because they make you immune to those status effects, you still have a chance of getting wiped by Grand Cross. And personally, I don't like that very much. Yeah, Quina can heal most of them if you don't all die in one action! Which is what I just said, man! Who fucking cares if you can cure them if you're all dead instantly? There are things that you cannot stop! And that's just a matter of bad luck. That's not... Unfortunately, yeah, Ferris is asleep here. Also, ow, my throat from screaming. But it does kind of piss me off a little bit, just as a matter of design. Also, we died. Whatever. But it doesn't change the ending which phase you kill Xdeath in. So, whatever. We showed off the fight. That's the important part. It's, again, to me, it's like, okay, most of it's fine. The fact that the fight can still, like, just RNG insta-wipe you for a story boss, even for the final boss, that part is, like, the one thing that I find about FF9 to be like, okay, this is bad, actually. I don't think they should do that. Okay, sure, whatever, give it to Ozma. That only makes Ozma slightly more annoying. I don't care. But for a story battle, yeah, no. And honestly, it doesn't even seem like Grand Cross is that extreme unless you have literally no status immunity. And even then, you might be okay. But also, yeah, the thing that also tended to happen to me was that when I was fighting Necron is that Quina would die first, so that's annoying. This was also an era where you basically could only raise party members at like 10 HP unless you cast full life on them, which I didn't have somebody in the party who could do that, so maybe that's my fault. Honestly, probably is. But even so, yeah, I mean, that's why I say that Necron isn't hard once you get past the RNG gate. Kuja is a harder battle and is more of an actual skill check. Anyway, we kind of got screwed on Neo Xdeath. I don't really feel like going through that again. But again, couple of things that I could show off there. So the big thing that casting Odin on Neo Xdeath does, or rather what activating Zantetsuken through the magic lamp does, is that it kills, I believe, the back section of Xdeath's. Yeah, it's the back target. Only if used through the magic lamp, otherwise Odin will use Gungnir because of some reason. Oh shit, the middle section is susceptible to petrify. Ooh, I wish I had known that! That would actually have made things a lot easier. Because that would have been another section freely killable. Yeah, so I'm going to go into the wiki here real quick, and I'm going to look to explain things here. What is the trigger? Which attack is used depends on the nature of the targets, i.e. whether or not they're heavy and on minor random. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Odin performs either Zantetsuken or Gungnir. When summoned, Zantetsuken, if successful, slices all non-heavy enemies in half, instantly killing them. This makes it stronger than the samurai ability Ayanuki. Costs use and thing. Gungnir is used if any of the enemies are heavy or as a random alternative against non-heavy targets. Yeah, so basically, because some parts of Neo X Death at bare minimum are considered heavy, you cannot use Odin as a summon and get your insta kill that way. Get your vengeance / instant kill. So that's a big part of why I didn't really give a shit about picking up Odin, is because honestly he wasn't going to be useful. The magic lamp, however, that is great value. Actually, you know what? I'm taking another shot at this. I want to see if I can beat this through a little bit better play here. Well, thankfully he's starting out by whiteballing somebody who's immune, so that'll make my life a lot easier. Well, like I said, one part of him is vulnerable to ow, my throat hurts. Gee, I wonder why. One part of him is vulnerable to being petrified. So since we have access to Breakblade through, honestly, it'll probably be Ferris who does Breakblade. Assuming that I get the chance to do that, to do the setup, I should be able to. It'll be fine. We'll get there. We'll get a chance to see this, and we will all together just kind of go, wow, that's silly. Here, yeah, prep Breakblade for yourself, and Kryl, you're not busy this turn. Not yet, anyway, so scroll, scroll, scroll. Where is it? God, it's all the way down there. Fuck, I probably should, like, move that up higher in the inventory. Oh well. Too late for that now. Mostly because I'm too busy being a effing buffoon here. Alright, and scatter shot some more, and defend, defend. That's right, Butts. Use the power of your limit break. At least it is in Dissidia. That's right. Neo X Death knows what he's about. He's gonna erase us, and then he's gonna erase himself. As soon as his work here is done, he's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I don't know why I'm hitting that so hard. I think it's just out of, like, really driving the point home. Give him the old vengeance sword. And chop part of him down to size anyway. Alright, and that middle section, I don't know if that worked, unfortunately, but we did get an animation. Unfortunately, that may not actually mean anything, really, so we'll find out. Yeah, we're still hitting the midsection, too. Tragic. It'd be very cool when it works, I swear. And he's hitting us with the Almagest, and I'm gonna assume that was another Donata for us. Let's do this, and, yeah, okay, I think part of the problem here is that... Oh boy, everybody in the party is basically trying to hit parts of him that are actually still... Is that the one that... Yeah, okay, so I was hitting the wrong midsection, I guess. Fuck. My eyes. Okay, yeah, in my defense, what I read literally only said the middle section, so... That is on the dingus who wrote that in the fucking, wiki. So, great job, dipshit. I'm really glad that you are something or other, man. I don't know where I'm going with this. Quite frankly, it's not much skin off my back, but just to confirm it, I guess. All right. Just go balls deep here. Unfortunately, we do also have to contend with the problem of we're still attempting to scatter shot for enemies that are dead. So that's a little bit unfortunate, really. And that is a big contributor to our dog shit accuracy that we were having with this strategy. That's a deeply unfortunate set of circumstances, basically. And you can see what's happening with that now. Oh, he's getting pissed. I'm actually kind of curious if we managed to break any of the sections, but I can't exactly view targets through butts. I mean, I can by selecting blue magic. Okay, yeah, he's still only got 2 parts. Basically, if I recall correctly, once you drop X-Death to only 1 section, he just sort of enters an enraged state. Where he does a lot more actions. And you might be saying that enraged state sounds a lot like he basically casts haste on himself, and to be honest with you, yes. Yes, that's basically what happens. So, yeah, if I was being smart about it, White Wind would probably have been a good action there. Oh, the chug. Oh my god. Oh my fucking lord. The extent to which we're just hanging on by a thread here. And here comes some nasty stuff. Well, Kryle's got the deal with the glasses. Or, sorry, Lena has to deal with the glasses. What am I saying? Kryle. I should probably unfrog Kryle, honestly, instead. But I'm sure we'll have enough time to pull some stuff off, right? Weirdly enough, this actually feels a lot calmer than last time. The credits need Toad Corral. You have a good point, actually. I like the way you think, you sick fuck. The universe is in peril. Yes, and so is the integrity of my pants or something. I don't know. Underwear. Anyway, yeah, Guild Toss would have been a good idea. That was actually one that I had kind of on the list of, like, the big short list of get this to everybody, but then I didn't do my big grinds over the weekend because I'm an idiot. And here comes some rocks. And some more rocks. And wow, Kryle just got absolutely shown the fucking door, huh? You may be saying I should probably be playing this a little bit smarter. And yes, but also then I wouldn't be able to just miss literally everything with butts all at once. Classic strategy, and here come the rocks, and we're dead. Jesus, man. See, if I had realized that Scattershot wasn't going to work that well, I would probably have tried to find a different cheeser. Anyway, folks, that'll be a good lesson in don't rely too heavily on your cheese strategies, because that's the thing about them, is that they're kind of there to allow you to get away with some things that you really shouldn't. But hey, we did beat the final boss. We did view the credits. So we got very, very close to the end of the final boss there. I am going to consider that one completed, even though technically we didn't beat Neo X Death. But hey, screw it. I don't feel like grinding for more levels or something. Show us the as I'm just like, do I have something that can turn someone into a toad? And then I can just do the cheese fight against regular XF to skip Neo again? Unfortunately, I don't think I do. Well, I apologize, folks, but that is still Final Fantasy V for the PlayStation 1. Now, as one last thing to cover all the bases here, you may be asking me, well, this translation is very old and very bumpy and full of Dagar and things like that. Should I play one of the other versions for a better translation? And the answer to that is, well, define better, because quite honestly, I don't really feel like any version of FF5 has really quite gotten to the point of a good translation. Later translations expanded on things in some ways that I feel are not very good. Although at bare minimum, some of that was curtailed in the Pixel Remaster version. Not perfectly. Like, there's definitely some parts that are, like, really making Galoof kind of a gross old man. But they did take out a line from when Gilgamesh self-destructs in the Necrophobe battle, which I just was straight up not prepared to deal with. That in the GBA translation, and consequently the now no longer existent mobile translation, there was a bit during the Necrophobe battle where Gilgamesh comes in. This is in every version of it. Gilgamesh comes in and he interrupts and basically saves your ass because it's a super hard fight. And it is a super hard fight. But as, like, his parting goodbye to everybody, he, passes on some advice. And in the GBA translation, he says to Ferris that maybe you should act like a woman once in a while if you remember how. And they changed that in the Pixel Remaster to maybe you should learn to love someone if you still remember how. And I think that by, some people might say some things about that, but I think that very pointedly by avoiding the gendered language, because I think that aspect of Ferris in particular is treated a little bit shittily in any of the translations that proceed past this one. And again, it's one of those types of characters where, like, people read this character a certain way, and I don't disagree with it. Meanwhile, it's better handled than other examples of this character that I've seen in other media. I referred to Naoto Shirogane in the first VOD of this that I did, who, of course, is the character from Persona 4. And Persona 4 was such a bad game about that entire subject, really, and just applying for literally every character almost, taking something about like gender or sexuality, and for every character, I mean, honestly, not literally every character, but several of them, and just using that to be like, yeah, by the way, here's these major social issues that we're using to instead discuss something completely mundane. And I feel that felt a little bit gross. And, you know, again, as somebody who came out as trans in the 2010s after a bit of self-realization and a lot of uncertainty that really has led up to even now where I'm, you know, still kind of an explorer lost in the wasteland at times. I think that feels like especially bad, and then again, just the overall treatment of Naoto as a character in any of the other Persona media afterwards, and honestly, even in P4 in general. But yeah, Ferris is definitely handled significantly better than that, but is treated like absolute shit in some of the later translations. The Pixel Remaster dials it back, and I think that in some level, I mean, the Pixel Remaster isn't perfect, but it's probably the best overall-ish. But maybe part of that is also just like, okay, this one is a huge mess otherwise. Let's remember why burn, etc. And the Pixel Remaster, at least, again, cuts down on some of the grossness and doesn't have those absolute gutterball level unforced errors where it's like they put up the bumpers and you still threw the ball straight into the gutter because of just sheer rank incompetence. I've definitely done that before, by the way. The last time I went bowling was like 20 years ago, and I was bad at it then, and I'm probably worse at it now. This split you sold me is making me choke.